guys, so today we're going to be skipping a lesson and going on to the next lesson, which is dividing fractions. We skipped lesson 4 because I'm going to kind of mesh it in with today. I didn't want to confuse you guys again because I know seeing that first lesson with the multiplying fractions really confused you, some of you. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate that today and show you how it works, but I'm going to skip that whole lesson and we're just going to move on to how to divide. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about what a reciprocal is, and what a reciprocal is going to be the inverse of a fraction. So let's write that down. It's the inverse of a fraction. And what that means is if you have 1/2, when you do the reciprocal, you switch them. Okay, so it's going to turn into 2/1. Okay, that's all it means, is that you're going to turn them around and switch them. Okay, so that will come in play when we learn how to divide fractions. I'm going to do the steps, and then we're going to model what it looks like when you're dividing fractions. Okay, so let's go ahead and do step 1. So step 1 says you need to rewrite your problem, and instead of rewriting the full thing, you're going to rewrite it with the reciprocal, okay, with the inverse of that fraction, of the second one, and I'll explain what that means. So rewrite, so step 1 is rewrite and multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so I'm rewriting the problem, and instead of it being a division sign, because we're dividing right now, I'm going to switch that to a multiplication sign, and then I'm going to multiply it by the reciprocal. Okay, so that'll make sense in a second, but you're going to switch it to a multiplication problem. Okay, so we're going to go over that. Step 2, you guys already know. Step 2 through step 4, you multiply the numerators. I'm going to put num for numerator, multiply the denominator is the next step, den for denominator, okay? And then you're going to simplify. You guys already know how to do all of this. Step 1 is the only new part. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. Okay, sorry, I went a little fast there. You can always pause it if you need to. Okay, so I'm going to do the first example, example 1, and I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to model it for you so I can show you a picture of what we're doing, okay? These models, all it's doing is showing you a picture of what it means to multiply or what it means to divide, okay? So, we got example 1, and this is going to be easy. 4 divided by 1/3, okay? All right, so 4 divided by 1/3, what does that look like? Well, let me just take the first number, 4. I need 4 wholes, 4 circles, 4 squares, 4 anything. I need 4 whole, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? I have 4 whole. Now I need to divide each one into thirds, okay? So I'm dividing 4 divided by 1/3, so I'm going to divide them into thirds. Equals what? How many thirds do I have now? Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my answer is 12. Okay, so that's what it looks like. That's what we're talking about. And so I know one of you guys had this question. Why is it when you multiply, the answer gets smaller? Okay, so I'm going to switch it for you really quick, and I'm going to tell you, well, look, when you're dividing, which is the opposite, your answer is actually getting bigger because it's asking you how many little parts are in that whole number, and you're going to have a lot of parts. So, for example, what's 2 pizzas divided into 1/8 slices? Okay, you're going to get like, 16 pieces. That's bigger than this original number, the 2 pizzas, but that's because you're talking about how many parts are in there. Okay. So that's why when you divide, you're going to get a bigger answer, okay? When you're dividing fractions, you're going to get a bigger answer because they want to know how many parts you're going to end up with, okay? So let's do another example, okay? So this point really quick was just explaining to you what the picture looks like. Now let's do it using the steps, okay? So if I have 4 divided by 1/3, okay, step 1 was what? Well, first of all, I have an imaginary what right here? I have an imaginary 1. Remember, if you have a whole number, you need to write that imaginary 1 right there so it can turn into a fraction, okay? So this is going to turn into, step 1 says multiply by the reciprocal. This number, always the second number that you're going to switch. So we got 4/1, multiply means times, by the reciprocal. I'm going to switch it around. Okay, now you know how to do the rest of the steps. Okay, step 2, multiply the numerator. Step 3, multiply the denominator. Step 4 is simplify. Okay? So this is the only part that's new, is that flipping, multiplying by the reciprocal, flipping that second number. All right, let's do another example. We're going to do another few examples of different types of fractions here. Mixed fractions, whole numbers, and so on, so on, and so on. Okay. Let's do example 2. Make sure you're writing these down so you can refer back to them. We got 4 divided by 2/5. Okay, first thing you do, I see that 4, that big 4 by itself. I'm going to draw my imaginary 1 underneath it. And then this number is going to flip. Okay, so I'm going to change it to multiply. 4/1 times, I'm going to flip my number, 5/2. Okay, 4 times 5, 1 times 2, and I'm going to divide so I can simplify, sorry. And so 20 divided by 2 is 10. Okay? All right, let's do another example. Just going to keep doing a few examples with different types of fractions. Okay, example 3, 9/10 this time. The whole number is going to be the second number, okay? What do I do when I see that 3 by itself, the big 3? I draw an imaginary 1 underneath. So step 1 says multiply by the reciprocal. I got to switch it around. Okay, you have to follow the steps. And I keep stressing this to you guys. I know, I'm sorry, but you have to follow the steps. If you're not following the steps, you're not doing it the right way. You're going to get confused. I know the steps because I've been doing math for so long that I know the steps in my head and how to do it. But I still follow the steps. Even if I do it in my head, I'm still following every single step, okay? You have to follow the steps. You can't make up math on your own. You have to do it the way that you learn it. You have to follow the steps. So, 9 times 1, 9. 10 times 3, 30, okay? That is not improper, so, I mean, you don't have to divide or anything, but you do need to simplify there, okay? You got 3/10. All right. I have 2 more examples. I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off. All right, example 4. Okay, this one's gonna look a little silly. 3 divided by 6. It looks silly because when you first look at it, you say, yeah, 3 divided by 6 is 2. Well, that's not actually true. 6 divided by 3 is 2. But what's 3 divided by 6? Well, let's figure it out. Okay, so again, what do I do when I see these numbers by themselves? I draw my 1 underneath. And then step 1 says, okay, rewrite it by multiplying by the reciprocal. I need to switch these around. Okay, step 2, multiply the numerators. Step 3, multiply the denominator. Step 4, simplify. Good. One more example. Example number 5. Okay. 3/4 divided by 5/8. Okay. 3/4 divided by 5/8. Okay. So I keep my 3/4. Step 1 says multiply by the reciprocal, so I need to switch it around. Okay. Please don't do this in your head either. Okay. Write it down. Don't risk messing up. Just write it down. Small, you can write it down small right next to your problem. Okay, so multiply the numerators, 24. Multiply the denominators, 20. Now I need to simplify, okay? There's 2 ways I can simplify this, okay? I'm gonna do it both ways to show you guys. I can see that here I need to divide, so I know that I'm gonna get 1 4/20, which is equal to 1 1/5. Or I can see this 24/20 and say, okay, well, I can divide both by 4, right? Divided by 4. And I'm going to get 6/5. And I still need to simplify or change it to a mixed number. Okay, so I'm going to get the same answer. Okay, so either way you do it, you still need to simplify. You still need to turn it into that mixed number. Okay, so that's it. We're not going to do lesson 4. We're going to skip lesson 4, but I just wanted to show you guys why it works and the how it works, and this is how to do it. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know.